SSI Loka Seva Gurukulam online classes. Today we are going to continue with the chapter Nutrition in Animals. This is the fifth part of this chapter. Today we'll be learning about nutrition in grass-eating animals and nutrition in amoeba. Learning objectives. 4-chambered stomach in grass-eating animals. Who are ruminants? Digestion in grass-eating animals. Digestion of cellulose. Amoeba. Feeding and digestion in amoeba. The very first learning objective is 4-chambered stomach in grass-eating animals. So, grass-eating animals have 4-chambered stomach. When we studied about nutrition in humans, we saw that we have a stomach, but it has only one chamber. While the animals that eat grass, they have 4 chambers in their stomach. Why do they have 4 different chambers inside their stomach? We'll be learning about that as we move forward with today's lecture. First of all, let us have a look at the 4 chambers. What are the names of those 4 different chambers of the stomach in grass-eating animals like cow, deer, camel, buffalo, sheep, giraffe, etc. So the very first chamber is called rumen. The second chamber of the stomach is reticulum. The third chamber is omasum, and the fourth chamber is called abomasum. So what are the 4 chambers of the stomach in grass-eating animals? Rumen, reticulum, omasum and abomasum. Now who are ruminants? Right now we studied that the first chamber of grass-eating animals is called rumen. Now these grass-eating animals, they'll quickly swallow the food. They'll not chew that food too much. They'll just quickly swallow and they'll store that food in the first chamber called rumen. And the animals who do that, they are called ruminants. So can you correlate these two terms, rumen and ruminants? Let's study this in more detail. Grass-eating animals quickly swallow the grass and store it in the rumen part of the stomach. Here the food gets digested partially and is called cud. So these grass-eating animals, what do? They'll swallow the grass and they'll store it in the first part of the stomach, the first chamber of the stomach, that is rumen. And this food, which is just partially digested, is called cud. Later on, this cud returns to the mouth in small lumps, and then the animals will chew it properly. This process is called rumination, and the animals are called ruminants. So what are the grass-eating animals doing? They'll just quickly swallow the grass in the first chamber of the stomach called rumen. This partially digested food is called cud. Now this cud will again go back into the mouth of the grass-eating animals, and this time they'll chew it properly. And this process is called rumination, and the animals who do it are called ruminants. I hope it is clear to you. Now let's have a look at the process of digestion in the grass-eating animals. So firstly, the animals, they'll just quickly take in the grass. They'll not chew it properly. They'll just store it in the first part of the stomach. As you can see the arrow, they'll store it in the rumen part of the stomach. You can follow this red arrow on the screen. So the food is stored in rumen. Now this food will again go back to the mouth. Now this time the cow will chew this food, will chew the cud. We studied earlier that this partially digested food is called cud, and now this time the cow will chew this cud properly. Now once it has chewed the cud properly, now it will again go back into the stomach. Now it goes into the second chamber. The second chamber is called reticulum. Now from reticulum, it will go into the third chamber, which is called the omasum. From omasum, it will go to the fourth chamber, which is the abomasum. This is how digestion takes place in grass-eating animals like cow. It ate the food, it ate the grass got stored in the rumen. Then again it went back to the mouth. Then it chewed the cud properly, and then again it brought it into the stomach. Now the chewed food will enter into the second chamber, that is the reticulum. Then it goes into the third chamber, that is omasum. Then into the fourth chamber, that is abomasum. So like this, digestion happens in grass-eating animals. Now another interesting thing is that grass has a specific substance in it, that is cellulose, and it is a little difficult to digest cellulose. So how do these animals digest cellulose? So the grass is rich in cellulose, a type of carbohydrate. So cellulose is a type of carbohydrate which is a little difficult to digest. But these grass-eating animals, they have a special mechanism to digest it. So that's what we look now into. So through chewing of food, thorough chewing of food, and the bacteria present in the rumen helps in the digestion of food. So since they are chewing the grass twice, and then there are various bacteria in the rumen, so that helps in the digestion of food. Now ruminants also have a spacious bag-like structure between their esophagus and small intestine, and this sac is called cecum. Now in this diagram you can see a sac-like structure, cecum. Now the cecum has certain bacteria in it which help in the digestion of cellulose of food. So this bag-like structure present in the grass-eating animals, which is called cecum, it has certain special bacteria present in it that help in the digestion of cellulose, which is present in the grass. Did you know that, or do you know that cows spend 6 hours of their day eating grass, and then they'll spend another 8 hours chewing their cud? I'm sure you must have definitely seen that whenever you look at a cow, it is always chewing. And now you also know the reason behind it. Moving ahead, the next topic is amoeba. So we have learnt about digestion in grass-eating animals. Now let's have a look at an organism which is very small. Now how do they digest their food? So amoeba is a microscopic single-celled organism found in pond water. So it is microscopic. Since it is microscopic, so we cannot see it with our own eyes, with naked eyes. So to have a look at this organism, we need a microscope. It is just made up of a single cell, and it lives in pond waters. Now amoeba has a cell membrane, then a dense round nucleus, and many small bubble-like vacuoles. So these are the various structures of this organism: a cell membrane, vacuole, and a nucleus. Amoeba constantly changes its shape. So it's really interesting. This organism will not have a definite shape. It will keep on changing its shape. It does not have a fixed shape. But how does it change its shape? So you can see that there are these finger-like projections in this organism. You can see in the diagram, right? So these finger-like projections, they are called pseudopodia. Now the word pseudopodia, it is made up of two words, pseudo and podia. The word pseudo means false and podia means feet. So it has these structures called pseudopodia, which are like false feet. Why are they called false feet? Because it will push these finger-like structures called pseudopodia in different directions. And when it pushes it in a particular direction or in some direction, its shape changes. And why does it push these structures in different directions? So that it can move in that direction, or so that it can capture the food which is present in that direction. Now let's see further about its digestion. So as amoeba sees some food around it, what it will do is it senses, whenever it will sense the food, it will push out its pseudopodia. As you can see in the second figure, that it has pushed out its pseudopodia around the food particle, and it will engulf that food particle through its pseudopodia, and now a food vacuole has been created. Digestive juices are secreted into this vacuole and they act on this food particle so that it can be broken down into simple substances. Gradually, the food gets digested and it will be absorbed. Then the absorbed food will be used for growth, maintenance, multiplication. Like in our body, the digested food is used to give us energy, for our growth, for our cells to multiply. Likewise, they also use that digested food for the purpose of growth, maintenance and multiplication. Now, the undigested food residue will be expelled out by the vacuole. So obviously, the undigested food material needs to be taken out of their body, that is their cell. So it will be removed out through the vacuole itself. Now let's have a look at the overall mechanism, what has actually happened right now. So the amoeba senses the food particle near it. Then what it does, it will move its pseudopodia towards the food. Then a food vacuole will be created. Inside this food vacuole, digestive enzymes and substances will be released so that the food can be digested. So after digestion, the food will be absorbed and assimilated. The amoeba will use that absorbed and digested food for growth, maintenance and multiplication. And once this process is over, the undigested food or the residue will be expelled out again through a vacuole, through the vacuole. So the food is being captured, then enzymes act on that food inside the food vacuole. The food will be digested and then absorbed, and then it will be expelled out. So this is the mechanism of feeding and digestion in amoeba. Now let's test your knowledge and your understanding. So we have fill in the blanks over here. The first fill up is the amoeba digests in food in the dash. Where does the amoeba digest its food? So like we studied right now, it creates a food vacuole inside which it digests the food. So the answer is food vacuole. The next fill up is grass-eating animals have a large sac-like structure called dash between their esophagus and small intestine. So we had learned that grass has cellulose in it, and it's a little difficult to digest cellulose. But grass-eating animals have a special structure. And what is that structure called? I'm sure you all know it. It is cecum. Partially digested food that is chewed again by grass-eating animals is called dash. Yes, what is that partially digested food that is stored in rumen and then again sent back to the cow's mouth or the grass-eating animal's mouth? What is it called? Yes, it is cud. The last fill-up. Amoeba uses dash for locomotion and capturing food. So we studied about the false feet of amoeba. What is it called? It is called pseudopodia. Okay, so it is using its false feet called pseudopodia for capturing food and for moving around, that is locomotion. Now a motivational quote. So I would like to quote Sri Sathya Sai Baba. So he said that it is significant to note that those who live on vegetarian food are less prone to diseases, whereas non-vegetarians are subjected to more diseases. So why is it so that the people who are on vegetarian diet are likely to get less diseases or are less prone to diseases, while those who are on non-vegetarian diet, they are subjected to more diseases? Why is it so? It is because animal food is incompatible with the needs of human body. The food is not appropriate for our body. It's difficult for our body to digest non-vegetarian food. So it causes diseases in our body. Hence, we should follow a vegetarian diet because it's better for our body and our body can easily digest vegetarian food. With this, we have come to the end of this chapter. I hope you understood the process of digestion in humans as well as in grass-eating animals and in amoeba. So thank you so much. Om Shri Sai Ram.